Yo, what's up, YouTube? What's up? Hope y'all doing good. Hope y'all good. Y'all straight. I hope y'all mental health on point. So today I'm going to do a video I've been talking about doing for a minute. I just never get around to it. Just be so busy and, trying to keep everything else in line. I had another crazy week. We're going to talk about that later in another video. Anyways, y'all, so I wanted to do a video about I did a video as far as JB Hunt versus Snyder, how they compare and contrast, right? So today I'm just going to do a video about the pros and cons of JB Hunt themselves. And there are some good things and there are some things that I will say I don't care for, but hey, that goes with the saying that no company is perfect. You just have to find a company that works for you, that's perfect for you, or whatever the situation may be. All right, so one of the definite, as you've heard me sing the praises of, the most enjoyable thing about JB Hunt is their fuel discount, period. They have the best fuel discount I think I've ever come across. I've been getting fuel even this week for about, the most I've paid for fuel this week is $3.36. The least I've paid this week is $3.21. So 2 of those was at Love's and I think 1 was at a Pilot. So definitely the fuel discount is the biggest thing. I will say, as far as a comparison of loads between JB Hunt and let's say some other companies I work with like Schneider, JB Hunt has better rates, especially for their short runs. I've seen some short runs $4 or $5 a mile. I've seen some short runs, $3, $4 a mile, like going maybe 250 miles, lows paying about $1,200, $1,000, and even after JB Hunt's cut. Usually the rule of thumb is if you see a load paying $4, it pay $3. If it's $3, it's paying $2. $2 paying, under $2. So even after the cut, you're still seeing loads paying $3, $4 a mile for some short runs. About $250, $260 a mile, even for some big runs out to Connecticut. So definitely another one of JB Hunt's pluses is they do have the freight. Now JB Hunt has a lot of drivers. JB Hunt has a lot of independent contractors. I mean, think about it. They're not small. They're the second largest company in the United States, guys. So there are a lot of drivers that drive for JB Hunt. There are a lot of drivers that may want to drive for JB Hunt. So we can kill the argument or the discussion or the commentary of flooding the market. The market's already flooded, guys. There's way too many drivers and not enough loads. And then the loads we do have aren't good loads. We all know that. And then the loads that we do have that may be good loads aren't good paying loads. So there's so much going on with the market right now that everybody's scrambling right now. Everybody who it doesn't have a well-connected situation with direct shippers and all that. We know some super truckers out there that are going to say something about it. But everybody who isn't well-connected or still trying to find their feet in trucking, they're going to have a hard time trying to figure out where they want to go. So they may go to a company for 5 months. They may go to JB Hunt and say like, nah, JB Hunt ain't for me. I'm going to Schneider. Nah, Schneider ain't for me. I'm going to Landstar. Nah, Landstar ain't for me. I'm going to Mercer and F2F and Cloud Trucks and all of that. But you have to find your place. If your place is at JB Hunt, great, sure, why not? But don't make your decision to go anywhere based off what anyone else says. So another pro of JB Hunt is they do have great communication. My capacity coordinator, that's what they call your driver leader over here, your manager, whatever you want to call them. So far, she has been excellent. She has had excellent communication. She has gone out of her way to help me in situations where she didn't have to. She compensated me for deadhead miles when she didn't have to do that. She just did it, out of her own heart, and that goes a long way with me, and I appreciate that. That's gonna make me want to run extra hard for her. Or if she do need that favor in the future, because we all know sometimes a dispatcher need a favor, I wouldn't mind doing it. Come and be like, okay, she went hard for me when she didn't have to. So I'll get into like a con, right? A negative. A negative I have found with JB Hunt is in the load board, not the load board, not the rates, not the freight, but in the load board app itself, right? The JB Hunt Drive app is what they call it for their independent contractors. The 360 Carrier app, that is for the power only people. But for the Drive app, the one I run off of, the probably the most negative thing about it to me is if you don't screenshot what that load pays when it shows you the line haul, it shows you the fuel surcharge, the rate per mile. If you don't screenshot that, there's no real way to go back and see what that load paid. Sometimes it might still show you the fuel surcharge if you check the reference comments, you know, for the load, like where you go to see your pickup number, shipping ID, and all that. But most times it won't. So if you don't screenshot it, other than calling your capacity coordinator, you don't know what the load pays, and so you have to keep track of that. With Schneider, I did not have to do that. You can check the rate of the load at all times. Just tap on the rate, go to rate info. It shows you the rate of the load, and it shows you the rate after the cut. Yes, with JB Hunt, you have to do the math. I don't care about doing the math. The math is fine. You know, long as the math, I don't care about doing math. But for those of you who don't know, the JB Hunt math is that JB Hunt gets 35%. The driver gets 65% of the line haul. JB Hunt gets 35%. The driver gets 100% of the fuel surcharge. JB Hunt doesn't touch the fuel surcharge. That's all you. And the way you do that math, you know, y'all know by now, you take the line haul rate, you multiply the line haul rate times 0.65. The amount you come up with, that's what the load pays to you. And then you add the fuel surcharge. That's what the load pays without the line haul. Without the fuel surcharge. What you do then, sorry y'all, I got tongue twisted. What you do then is take that amount that you got after you multiplied the line haul times 0.65, add that to the fuel surcharge. That is what the load pays you. Then to find out what the load pays per mile, is you add up the total amount of deadhead miles and the total amount of loaded miles, divide that by the number you came up with after you added the line haul and the fuel surcharge, and then you'll know the actual rate per mile of that load. So yeah, my biggest negative with the app itself, not the loads or the freight, is that JB Hunt doesn't have a way of showing you what that load pays after you book it. So definitely make sure, guys out there, that you're screenshotting that load pay information, because you probably won't see it again unless you call your capacity coordinator, unless you wrote it down or something like that. So definitely be on top of that. I'm preaching to myself because I'm not always on top of it, I won't lie. If I have to say that there's another negative, it's that just like with Anywhere, definitely with Anywhere, night staff sucks. Night staff is a little better so far than I've experienced at Schneider. Sometimes you can write someone at night and it could take 4 or 5 hours to get an answer. At night, the longest I've waited so far probably to get a response on something was about 2 hours. That obviously could change. We still kind of early in this thing. All right, so another negative with JB Hunt is sometimes there seem to be miscommunications, right? Like with what happened with the Walmart thing. Wires got crossed, and go watch my other video for that. Wires got crossed with that. Sometimes you could book a load as a drop. You scheduled your whole day in your week around drop the hook here, drop the hook there. Pick up here, pick up there. Live unload here, live unload there. But then when you get to a place, they tell you, oh, this isn't a drop, even though it has an all-day delivery. It has, 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So in most truckers' minds, okay, that's an all-day drop. No, it's an all-day live unload. And sometimes, like I said, you've probably ran that load before. It happened to me. I've ran a load before, and I ran it as a drop, and then I booked it again as a drop, and it became a live unload. So I'm saying that to say this. I guess that's not a negative. That's more of a trip planning thing. So leave a space in between your loads so that your loads aren't literally pick up here, I got 30 minutes to get there. Leave a buffer so you can give yourself time to work. Another positive with JB Hunt is also their communication. So a negative can be miscommunication, because everybody's saying, well, someone. But another positive is their communication. They will keep trying to reach out. Even if no one has the right information at the time, they'll keep trying to reach out until someone has the right information. You know, the conference calls. I don't mind the conference calls. You know, some people can look at it as a nuisance, but I don't mind it. That's just their way of trying to go out and do what they can to help the driver. Loads have been great. Definitely a plus there. The loads have been great. I've had the past 2 weeks haven't been great financially for me personally, only because one, I had to go home and put my truck in the shop, and my truck got held up for 2 days in the shop, and then also this Walmart situation. Go watch that video. Anyways, it's been good. The loads have been consistent. There's never been a situation where I just didn't have a load. Now, yeah, you may have to, open up that open up that idea of deadheading. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try not to do no more than 200 miles on the deadhead, right? Usually I can find it. Most loads I've been able to get, and I haven't had to go over 200. If I went over 200, it was a choice. Let me just put it that way, because there was something better out there, and we've all done it. Let's just not act like we all haven't done it. Unless you got some kind of dedicated situation going on, you got some direct shipper stuff. We have all taken, 200, 250, maybe even the occasional, if the load is really, really good, a 300-mile deadhead to get a good load. Y'all, my South Florida people, y'all can attest to that. We've all had to make that Florida to Georgia deadhead sometimes just to get out. Not every time, but sometimes. Other than that, y'all, a lot of people have asked me, in my opinion, is JB Hunt better than Schneider? In some ways, they are. In some ways, they are the same. And then definitely the major way for me, they are worse than Schneider when it comes to the availability of seeing the rate information after you book the load. That, for me, is a, it's a nitpick, sure. I just need to be on top of it and screenshot it. But it is a nitpick, but at the end of the day, it's something that I wish I could see, that I do miss from Schneider. But another plus is that, I'll go back to that. Another plus is that JB Hunt does not call you constantly about critical events, road stabilities, hard braking, these things, and sometimes they're out of your control. Sometimes it's just the level of the road. Sometimes the truck is detecting that you're going too fast for a curve, even though you can safely and legally maneuver that curve with no issue. Probably didn't even have to brake. Just let off the accelerator and you maneuvered that curve in the road. Not a turn, but a curve in the road. So, they used to, get on you about that, and you had 24 hours. This is Schneider. You had 24 hours to call and stuff like that. But with JB Hunt, you don't have to deal with that. So that is a plus, because, some drivers don't like to be micromanaged like that, and I'm one of those people. I don't mind a coaching or a feedback kind of situation, but with JB Hunt, they definitely don't micromanage you. I pretty much kind of can go a week without hearing anything unless I want to be, unless I want something to be, want to hear something. Anyways, y'all, like I said, and wrapping this up, I don't like rambling. Freight is good. The rates are good. These are all pros. Freight's good, rate's good. The fuel discount is unbelievable. The fuel discount is amazing. Communication's amazing. Transparency to a certain extent. The rates, the lanes, all of that. The drop and hook rate, all of that is amazing. But then they also, like I said, have the negatives of sometimes miscommunicating. Sometimes when you book a load, you're not sure if it's a drop or hook on one end, because I'm sitting at a load now that I thought was a drop and I'm being live loaded. Well, drop and hook, and I'm being live loaded. And then there's, like you said, if you don't screenshot or write down your rate before you book the load, you can't see it after. That's something that you definitely need to work on. Another negative so far is that I have not seen any hazmat loads, although I've been told that JB Hunt does have hazmat loads. I don't know if they're specifically to intermodal. Somebody could get in the comments and correct me on that one. But I was told that they are supposed to have some, and I would like to run them. Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna sign out. Hope y'all being good, being safe. Shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to all the old subscribers, new watchers. Shout outs for taking 5 minutes of your time. I appreciate it. I love you guys, like for real. I want to tell y'all a secret too. If you're watching this part of the video, you can let me know. But the reason I talk about mental health so much is because I have PTSD, and I have, it's labeled. They have so many other things you can call it, but it's like a chronic adjustment disorder, right? And I've been suicidal and things like that in my past, and so mental health is important to me. So I'm always preaching it to you guys because I'm preaching it to myself. Doing YouTube was done to help me have an outlet to vent. Because when you feel like you can't vent to no one, and even if you're sometimes in that state where you feel like, well, where is God, and I don't want to get too religious with that, or you feel like, why God, why am I going through this? YouTube became a way for me to vent when I felt like I had no one I could trust venting to. Yes, I'm married. Yes, I have a wife. But, we know as men, we bottle things up sometimes. So I felt like if I could vent to the world, I'll do that. So I wanted to kind of document. So in essence, starting doing YouTube was also a way to document my mental health journey. So I appreciate everyone being patient with me while I do that. This video's gone on long enough. Y'all be safe. Y'all be careful. My fellow YouTubians, I love y'all. Mustard Mayo, like, subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff. And I'm going to catch y'all down the road. I'm going to start doing lives a little more often. I'm going to start posting a little more often, so you're probably going to get tired of me. I'm sorry in advance, but the train won't stop. Y'all be blessed, though. Love y'all.